Hello, everybody, and welcome to class number 5, Sleep, Rest, and Recovery. I'm Dr. Tabor Smith, and I am going to jump right into this class. So hopefully you can see my slides there. I have been a chiropractor for over 18 years. I run 4 chiropractic clinics alongside an amazing group of chiropractors, some of the most expert chiropractors I believe in this profession. I practice with my wife, Dr. Gina. I've been the executive producer of an award-winning documentary titled A Better Way. And you can go to our website, abetterwaychiropractic.com, and you can watch that movie for free. I also teach spinal health and hygiene, a lot of other wellness topics, and I travel the world and I get to speak on some different stages. The book, A Better Way to Heal, this is talking about the 5th key to better health, which is sleep, rest, and recovery. They are 1, spine and nervous system; 2, eliminate toxins; 3, exercise; 4, nutrition; 5, sleep, rest, and recovery, so important; and number 6, we'll talk about next time, spirituality and mindset. We are talking about the 6 keys to wellness because we are trying to help an epidemic of sick and suffering people. More than 70% of adults across the United States have already been diagnosed with a chronic disease. 54% of children, the next generation, is going to be sicker than this generation if we don't do something about it. 75% of all deaths in the United States are attributed to just 10 causes, and the top 3 are heart disease, cancer, and COPD, and that accounts for over 50% of all deaths. A third of American children are overweight or obese. And pain affects more Americans than diabetes, heart disease, and cancer combined. People are in so much pain. In fact, every day, more than 130 people die here in the United States after overdosing on an opioid. And then studies show that up to 60% of those people, they started taking an opioid for pain. All right. So let's jump into how sleep can help your body heal. Rest and recovery is not an option if you want to have good health. You've got to allow your body to heal and to recover. Benjamin Franklin, I love this quote. He that can take rest is greater than he that can take cities. It's so important to let yourself rest if you want to be healthy. Rest is not laziness. It is a literal biological necessity for you to rest. In the Western culture, we glorify burnout. We glorify go, 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 sleep deprivation. But when we sleep, healing happens. Did you know that almost 70% of the healing in your body happens when you sleep? Your body releases a hormone called growth hormone, and it literally speeds up cell division. So when patients come in, they're getting adjusted. I love it when they tell me, I'm sleeping better now, doc, because I know if they're sleeping better, they're healing better. And that is going to not only help them heal from the pain and disease and the problems that are going on inside their body at the moment, but it's going to help them prevent some of the chronic diseases that are so common out there in today's society. We're literally in a sleep deprivation crisis right now in the United States. Americans sleep 1.5 to 2 hours less than they did just 50 years ago. We lose about 1 month of sleep per year here in America. Chronic lack of sleep equals chronic disease. These two things go together. Study after study shows it correlated with obesity, with diabetes, with cardiovascular disease, with just increased rate of mortality, period. Means you just have a greater chance of dying of something younger if you're sleep deprived. Did you know that 150 years ago, before, or that's how long we've had these artificial lights that we live under, 150 years before we had the electric light bulb. We slept a lot longer than we do now with all this artificial light. In fact, if you go all the way back to cavemen, that's where we came from. Humans back in Paleolithic times, we lived in caves, and we slept. They think about 10 hours per night, sometimes even longer than that. And why would that be? Why would we stay in our cave that long? Well, number one, we're not nocturnal creatures. The nocturnal creatures that are outside at night, humans don't do well with, right? So when there's big tigers and there's predators out there at night, humans would stay in their cave where it's dark and cool, and they could sleep, and they would sleep for a long, long night. So our DNA is created where we need sleep, and then just even up before the artificial light and industrialization, all those things, before 150 years ago, we got about 9-10 hours of sleep. Today, the average American gets 6 hours per sleep per night. So we need sleep for function, not just for healing, not just so you feel better, but for function. Your brain actually needs sleep to function. If you want proper memories and you want to maintain your cognitive thinking skills, you got to sleep. If you want to be productive, we need sleep. If you don't get sleep, we become forgetful. We lose stuff. We misplace stuff. A lot of us might do that a little bit, even with sleep. But it's harder to learn. Students and children, they need sleep even more than adults do. If we're trying to learn something, it can be a wasted effort if we're exhausted and we're not sleeping well. Now, there's inherent dangers actually in sleep deprivation. Like I mentioned before, it's been linked to obesity, diabetes, heart disease, Alzheimer's, cancer, increased inflammation in the body. Uh, there's actually, after spring daylight savings time, nobody likes daylight savings time. It's terrible, right? And we're all exhausted and tired after daylight savings time because we lose an hour. Did you know that there's an actual measurement and research has been done? There's a 24% spike in heart attacks after spring daylight savings time because sleep is so involved with your overall health. People start feeling better, they start healing better when they start getting adjusted, because the adjustment helps you get into your rest and digest part of the nervous system, what we call parasympathetic. It helps you shift back from sympathetic, which is fight or flight, into rest and digest, which is calm, relax, sleep, and it helps you regulate your hormones, your testosterone. A lot of people who are overweight or obese, their hormones are off. Did you know hormones determine your hunger? So if you're getting 5 hours or less sleep per night, they've actually done studies, and they show that people who get 5 hours of sleep or less per night, they have the testosterone of someone at least 10 years older than them. And this is becoming kind of a fad. I don't know if you'd call it a fad, but it's certainly very becoming more common in our culture for people to go to these testosterone clinics and get injections to replace their testosterone and get hormone replacement. And half the battle is allowing your body to sleep and stabilize all of those hormones. When it comes to hunger, people eat 20% more after a poor night's sleep. So if you want to improve your testosterone, if you want to lose weight, if you want to get your cortisol, which is your stress hormone, stabilized, so you can get out of fight or flight and back into rest and digest, we want to start regulating our sleep. Now, let's talk about the immune system. Super, super important. In studies that show when people get 4 hours of sleep or less, their immune system cells, which we call NK cell, it actually fights cancer. That cell drops 70% after a night that you only get 4 hours of sleep. So your body can't fight off cancer, can't fight off the things that it needs to fight off. It triggers chronic inflammation. So people who are already in pain, now they're not sleeping well, that triggers even more chronic inflammation in the body. And then let's talk about people who, unfortunately, there are people who have night shift, and they work at night, and that's been shown to be a probable carcinogen, like a cancer causer, is staying up all night long. And so people who I'm going to give you some tips. If you do have a night shift, or you know someone who has a night shift, give them these tips and strategies for trying to at least compensate with their circadian rhythm with that work schedule. So genes are switching off, and disease risks, uh, genes are switching on and off, and getting lack of sleep turns off certain immune system cells and turns on certain tumor cancer cells. All right. It raises your CRP, which is associated with heart. It raises your LDL, which is your bad cholesterol when you don't get enough sleep. So genes for health, if you want them to switch on your healthy genes, you got to get good sleep. If you don't get good sleep, those healthy genes are turned off and your bad genes are actually turned on. Now, when we talk about sleep, we want to actually get into deep sleep and REM sleep. And if you have like an iWatch or a Fitbit, something you can track your sleep with, this will help you understand what's going on. And patients who are under care get better deep sleep, get better REM sleep when they're coming in regularly and getting adjusted. I actually had a patient the other day tell me she sleeps with her watch, I believe it's an Apple Watch, and she notices every day that she gets adjusted, she gets much longer patterns of deep sleep, and just has a better night's sleep. So getting adjusted helps your body switch back and forth from fight or flight to rest and digest. Doing your spinal hygiene exercises at night. We always give people spinal molding rolls to lay on. Just lay on them for about 5 to 20 minutes. We want to build up over time. Lay on them in your bed with the lights off, with your eyes closed. Rest, relax, meditate, pray, and just let your body calm down. You're stimulating the neck and lower back area with those spinal molding rolls. And the neck and low back is the area where your parasympathetic nervous system comes from. Your rest and digest system comes from the neck and comes from the low back. So laying on those rolls at night helps you to get into that rest and digest, helps you to have a better sleep. Staying adjusted helps your body regulate that nervous system and helps you sleep better in the long run. Now, one thing you need to understand is you can't catch up on sleep. Okay, sleep is not a bank account. It's not something that you can just fill back up. Irregular schedules will mess up your body's functioning, and the immune system, the cardiovascular system, the brain, all of those things. Not getting enough sleep causes dysfunction, and you really can't catch up. So it's not like just sleeping in on the weekends is going to catch you up for poor sleep all week long. We need to have a regimen. We need to have a discipline. Try to go to sleep at the same time every night, whether it's 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock or whatever it is. Try to go to sleep at the same time every night. You'll have less inflammation. Your body will feel better. It will heal better. Your brain will function better. Your immune system will function better. And so it's worth saying, okay, I can go to sleep at 9:30 every night, and really trying to put 9:30 as the bullseye, getting your body into that discipline of doing that, and falling asleep at that time. Now, one thing I'll mention about trying to get on a rhythm and trying to get your circadian rhythms back, a great idea is to watch the sun go down. And I think walks are great. You should be going on walks. Look in your area. You can Google this. What time does the sun go down? And the Google will tell you like the exact time of sunset in your area of the world. And you can be outside walking, watching the sun go down. There's something that happens inside of your body, literally. Like, I'm not just saying that you feel good watching the sun go down, but humans have been doing this for thousands of years. What do we do on vacation when we're at the beach? It's romantic to watch the sun go down, right? Because something happens. You get a feeling when the sun go down. This is a physiological response. It's your circadian rhythm getting back into rhythm and changing and switching hormones while you're watching that sun go down. So if you'll do this for a while, just try it. Go for a walk when the sun is going to go down. Watch it go down. I don't mean just stare at the sun where it messes up your eyes. I mean just be there so your body knows, the innate intelligence inside of your body knows that the sun's going down. You'll sleep better. You'll fall asleep easier. It's like when you go camping. I go camping with my kids, and there's no artificial light. We're out there that my body kind of sees the sun go down. We got a campfire, but that's a real low energy type of light. and all of a sudden I'm feeling exhausted, I'm sleepy, I can't keep my eyes open. I look at my watch, it's like 7:30. Okay. And so you always go to bed early when we're camping because we're outside and my body knows what the circadian rhythm is. Unfortunately, we're under these artificial lights all the time and blaring in our eyes. We got a phone that's like 3 inches from our eyes. No wonder we're not sleepy because our body doesn't know it's nighttime. Our circadian rhythm is so messed up. One thing that you can do is get more red light in your house. Kind of like the fire. Fire has a little bit more of a red light tint. That's a low energy. It doesn't mess up your circadian rhythm. So after the sun goes down in your house, you can start turning off electronics, turning off the bright lights, maybe turn on a lamp or light a candle or have some red light in there, and that will keep your body calm and help you and your kids fall asleep better at night. All right. So what interferes with sleep? Sure, we have a little bit more trouble falling asleep as we're aging because our hormones are changing, but most of the problem with hormones is people just aren't even getting any sleep. Their diet is terrible, and so it really throws their hormones off. But yeah, it could be associated a little bit with aging. And then what I just explained, light exposure. Start turning off those lights after the sun goes down and getting your body realizing that it's nighttime. That's how you get that circadian rhythm back in check and going to sleep at the same time every night, getting that discipline, training your body to go to sleep at night. Medication, that's why we want to try to get you well in the office without medication, without surgery. Uh, we want to help you feel better so that you don't have to take medication and put all that toxins in your body, whether it's pain pills or anything else. It can mess up your sleeping patterns. And by the way, sleeping pills reduce your REM. You don't get the REM that you need to be able to heal when you're on a sleeping pill. So you might fall asleep with that sleeping pill, but it is not healthy for you because you are not getting healthy sleep whenever you use that. So I do not recommend those types of things if you can keep from them. Um, let's talk about some actual things that you can do that could help you sleep a little bit better. We want to avoid caffeine in the afternoons. I'd say about 2 p.m. is when we need to draw the line. No more caffeine after 2 p.m. Caffeine has about a 4-hour half-life, so if you can stop at 2 p.m., usually it's out of your system by the time you need to go to sleep. And then alcohol, you really want to stay away from it. You don't sleep well and deep when it comes when you have alcohol in your body. Now you might say, oh, it helps me fall asleep. And yeah, it could help you fall asleep because it makes you kind of drowsy and tired, so you fall asleep. But you'll notice when you drink alcohol, you probably wake up in like 2 hours into your sleep and then have a hard time falling back asleep again because you don't get into that deep sleep when you have alcohol in your system. Naps are great, 20, 30 minutes early in the afternoon. Try not to nap right before you have to go to bed in the evenings, but napping 20 to 30 minutes during your day is great. And then keep those consistent sleep hours, 9:30 every night, 9, 10, 10:30, whatever it is. Oh, by the way, I'll say, whether you're an adult or a kid, the sweet like spot, the best hours for your body to heal is always for just generally for all humans is between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. So especially if you have kids, make sure they're sleeping during those really great healing hours of 10 p.m. and 2 p.m. And don't ask me why. This has been studied all over the place. When if you want to heal, be asleep between the hours of 10 and 2. Your body gets a deeper sleep, great REM. That's really the best time to be asleep to get all of that recovery. So get your kids in bed before 10, make sure they're asleep between 10 and 2, and do that favor for yourself as well. You will appreciate it. Sleep hack number 2. All right. You want your room cool and dark. And really, they say down around 65 degrees Fahrenheit is where you want to keep it. Now, I know very few of you probably keep your house or your room that cold, 65 degrees, but that would be ideal. If you want to get really good sleep, it would be around 65 degrees. Think about it. I mentioned earlier, back in Paleolithic times when we slept in caves, we lived in caves. How cool do you think those caves were? Really cool. In fact, I bet you even in the summer months, it doesn't get down, it doesn't get up over 65 degrees down deep in those caves. And we're just, we just over time, our genes just got used to sleeping in that cool weather, and our bodies just sleep better when it's cool and dark, super dark, just like a cave. If you can, get up in the morning and watch the sun come up. That will help set your circadian rhythms for the next day. Get out there and take a walk when the sun's going down. Watch the sun go down. Your body get into that, just letting your body know, oh, it's daytime. Oh, it's dark, instead of artificially keeping it guessing with all of these bright lights that we're under all the time. Wear those blue light blockers. They have blue light blockers for glasses if you have to be on your computer or your phone late at night when it's dark, and then that keeps the white blue light from going in your eyes and telling your brain that it's morning or it's daylight out there. All right, and the third sleep hack that I have for you, 3 of 3, avoid eating late and exercising late. So when you eat late, your body has to digest while you sleep. It doesn't get into that deep, healthy healing because it's putting all its energy in digestion. And then when you exercise late, when you exercise, you're putting your body in the fight or flight or sympathetic part of your nervous system. You have to, your sympathetic nervous system or your fight or flight pushes blood to the muscles, vasodilates your eyes, gives you energy, pumps glucose into the blood. So you're putting yourself in fight or flight at 9-10 o'clock at night, and you're wondering why you can't shift back into parasympathetic or rest and digest, and you have a hard time going to sleep after you work out. So if you can, work out in the mornings or during the day, and try to avoid exercising real late at night. Instead of exercising like lifting weights or running or jogging, try gentle movements like the spinal hygiene exercises we talked about, laying on the rolls, or doing your range of motion stretches, or even yoga, something that can kind of calm you down. And it's okay to move and stretch, just so you want calm, gentle movements at night. All right, so these are some of the tips we talked about. Avoid caffeine, avoid alcohol, avoid late afternoon to evening naps. Keep regular sleep hours. Really try to hone in on discipline, going to bed at the same time every night. Keep your bedroom cool. I mean, down cool, 68, 67. If you can, even 65. Get out and get sunlight exposure, and watch the sun come up. Get out there and walk at night. Watch the sun go down. Help set your circadian rhythms properly. Avoid bright and blue light before bed. If you have to, get those blue blocker glasses. You can find them on Amazon, or they're out there. Avoid eating and intense exercise before bed. And then, the last thing I would say, keep a sleep diary. Write down some of the things that you did during the day, some of the things you ate, you exercised, all those things, and then see how well you sleep and look and compare. What nights did you sleep really good? What'd you do those evenings? What'd you do those days where you slept really good? What'd you do on the days where you didn't sleep good? You had terrible night's sleep, and you're like, oh, I did that. I drank coffee at 7 p.m. Whatever it was. Keeping that sleep diary will help you figure that out if you make sleep really, really important for you. Unfortunately, if you do have to work at night, you have the night shift, definitely try to get you some of those amber tinted or blue light blocking glasses while you're working at night. Try to take naps during the day. Maybe you don't have a night shift, but maybe you're a mom with a baby and you're working at night if you have a mom with a kiddo, right? So try to take naps during the day with the kiddo. And then if you do have to stay up late at night, or you're up a lot and you're trying to sleep during the day, maybe use some blackout curtains, especially if you're a night shift worker. Trick your body into thinking it's nighttime during the day, and I guess your body will think it's daytime during the night. That's not ideal, by the way, but if you have to do it, you have to do it. All right, that's it. That's what I got for you. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to choose 3 things that we talked about in this workshop. All right, maybe it's avoiding caffeine in the evenings. Maybe it's trying to get a disciplined bedtime and say it's 9:30. I'm going to bed 9:30 every night. Really try to get discipline with that. Maybe it's just keeping your room cool. You want to drop that degree, turn that AC on at night, or maybe it's going for that walk in the evening when the sun is going down. Google it, find out what time the sun's going down, and be out there so your body knows that sun's going down. Pick 3 of those things, write them down, and start tracking the sleep habits. You'll be glad you did. It will make a tremendous difference in your overall health. All right, in conclusion, I want you to know sleep is sacred. Healing requires you to prioritize rest. So make rest part of your health evolution. Make sure you're getting adjusted so your body can heal, function, and sleep better. We have 4 locations around the Houston area. If you're around here, we have Conroe, Memorial City, Cypress, and Montgomery, you can go to a betterwaychiropractic.com, hit that new patient special button, and get scheduled. Or if you're not in the Houston area, you can still go to a betterwaychiropractic.com, click the watch the movie button, and you can actually watch our award-winning documentary titled A Better Way. All right, thanks you all. Thank you all for being on tonight. I appreciate it. You have a wonderful evening, and I hope you have a great night's sleep. Good night.